Recording is started. Okay. So here we are on our new podcast slash channel. It's what's it called again?
Movie Club.
Movie Club. We're going to pick a movie that we think is probably one of the best movies most people haven't seen. So with me today is Eliza Landa.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, Gillum.
Nope, Eliza Landa.
Oh, Eliza Landa and Luke O'Gwen. He's a guest reviewer this week. We're going to see how it works out.
He's not a guest.
Jerk, then he won't be invited back. Just kidding.
Yeah. You might not invite me back after this. I'm just kidding.
And the movie this week is The Commitments. It's a 1991 movie by director Alan Parker, and he has a long history with dealing with subjects in Ireland, and amazingly, he has quite a background in musicals. He's directed Fame, Evita, Pink Floyd's The Wall, and a movie that we will probably review at some point, this crazy movie called Bugsy Malone, where it's a spoof off of gangster movies, but it's all played by kids. And they use guns, and it's really, I kid you not, people say it's a really good movie. But with that said, the other thing about Alan Parker is he got quite a wide range of direction, and he did movies like Mississippi Burning, dramas like Mississippi Burning and Angela's Ashes, and so
the comedies.
So no, Mississippi Burning. All right, you got me. You got me. So let's begin by first impressions, because it was my suggestion. So what do you guys think?
First impression? I liked it.
Hold on. One second. Really quickly, for anybody who hasn't heard about it, just a quick, what was this movie about?
Oh, okay. So it's this movie, and good work. Why don't you describe?
I would describe this movie as the story of a ragtag group of blue-collar Irish workers, specifically in Dublin, who, for some reason, decide to start a soul band, singing songs about the working class and their pains. Any other way you guys would speckle in the plot?
Yeah, that was a pretty good synopsis.
Yes, very, very good. I liked it. I like it.
Cool. Yeah. So I think initial reactions. Luke, I cut you off earlier. So what were you thinking?
I was just gonna say, I liked the film. It was a very enjoyable. I thought the characters were a lot of fun. So
yeah,
Eliza, what do you think?
I don't know that I loved it. I would describe it as it has a lot of heart, and I liked that about it. But I felt like I was at my friend's concert. Like, they invited me to come see their live show, and that's kind of most of the movie. So I liked the parts where they weren't singing the most, but I felt like that wasn't most of the movie.
Got it. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, so for me, I love the movie, of course. That's why I recommended it.
Yeah.
So I watched it a few weeks ago, and I watched it again this morning to get a fresher approach, take some notes. And, one of our scores, Eliza, that we were using last week was believability. And it's a bit of a stretch. I mean, I like them. I mean, I'm willing to give the movie a break because of, the overall message and the feel and everything about it. But it's kind of hard for me to accept that they got to be that good that fast.
Yes, right. Like, that's my big question. Like, the main character, Jimmy, I have no understanding. So the movie starts out where Jimmy is going to see this wedding band sing, and two members of the wedding band want Jimmy to manage them. And my question that I couldn't really work past in this whole thing is, what makes Jimmy qualified to manage a band? Like, why were they seeking him out? I felt like I had no understanding of why he was the person leading this pack. And that was a big problem for me.
Did I miss that as well?
And the other thing was there was a scene when they were all like practicing um, midnight hour and all that, where they're all
Mhm.
doing different things, and it shows them at their jobs, right? The guy was in the slaughterhouse, the other
Yeah.
guy was on a bus. The one gal, she had, for
Like the fish and
working
chips truck.
the chippy van, and so they showed everybody in a job except for Jimmy.
Jimmy. Well, and
And
come
then
to
he
find out,
finally was on the
Jimmy.
dole for 2 years.
Yeah, he's been like accepting unemployment or like using
Right.
unemployment for the past years. So I didn't understand. Like, is it just his love for music that makes him qualified?
I just think obviously from the beginning, he's like a hustler. Oh, just to remember the spoiler alert. So we're not going to try to hide anything. So just want to make sure that people
Mhm.
watching or listening understand we're not pulling punches. So
Yeah, exactly.
we're going to probably do that for every review, but we'll figure that out as we go.
There's probably
Assume
some movies
spoilers.
where it's better to like, remove spoilers because they're like a big part of the plot
True.
Yeah, especially if it's a recent release, like
or a
the new
big
Batman
twist.
movie,
Yeah.
or I mean, I hate to take us on to a whole side note, but The Sixth Sense, that was my favorite twist ever.
What?
The Sixth Sense.
In the Sixth Sense. Like,
Oh,
and we won't spoil it just in case
what you mean? Like he was
somebody
dead?
to edit these.
I actually
Dad,
don't spoil.
don't you
Do not spoil this for me. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
stop.
Don't
haven't
do
seen
it.
The
I
Sixth
swear.
Sense?
No,
Oh,
absolutely
shit.
not.
Okay.
Are you being
Okay,
serious?
let's move
I'm
on.
serious. I'm
Okay,
serious.
all
Move on.
right.
Look
Scout's
at this.
honor.
What? Oh, so let's talk about the story. So there were
Mhm.
things. One of the things that I love about this movie was it was so, even though it was a music, it was all character driven, and it was all so much amazing writing in it, and just crazy little lines like when the guy with the saxophone, they got introduced to the guitar player and the bass player, and what did he say? He goes, my uncle gave it to me when his lung collapsed.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that. And my favorite is the horse.
Oh, the horse that got caught in the
No, the horse
crossfire?
the kid that was going to take the horse on the elevator, and he asked the guy, "You're not taking it on the lift, are you?" He goes, "Yeah, of course. The stairs would kill him."
Oh my gosh, I did get a huge laugh out of that one. One I wrote down my personal favorite. It's a tie. Okay, so the first is when they're assembling the band and Jimmy's father is taking a look at who is in the band.
Oh
And
yeah.
as they practice, and he goes, "I bet you two are shitting themselves," which I just thought that really tickled me. I thought that was hilarious because it's like
Yeah.
obviously not. They just
Right.
yeah. And then my other personal favorite is when, oh my gosh, is it Joey the Lips? I should have looked up his
No,
specific name.
it's Joey the Lip Fagan.
Yes, when he is coaching, I believe it's like Dublin, or what's the saxophone player's name, and he's giving him some tips on how to improve his craft, which is to imagine as if he is playing a woman's nipple. And the line was, "Pick a nipple and play it again," or "Pick a nipple and try it again." That was my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Just so stupid, and oh my god! But hey, it worked.
I really liked when they had their first show, and Micah Wallace was like just going around the crowd, roughing up whoever wasn't like excited enough.
Oh my gosh. It's just like
thought that was
such a
good.
mess. Just such an absolute mess. And I will say, so like starting out at the beginning, and maybe one of the things that I'm learning about this podcast in particular is like breaking it into scenes or following the timeline might really help facilitate the discussion. But at the beginning, one of my favorite parts and themes throughout the movie was seeing like this raw Dublin. Like I'd never really thought the way I always imagined Ireland was like green rolling hills, very calm, very serene. And that was probably the biggest takeaway that I had from this movie was getting a sense of what Dublin really was like in that time, and seeing it in a whole different light, and like the grittiness and the, you know, just the poverty, but yet the heart, and how much fun people were having, the way the kids were playing in the streets, even though there's graffiti everywhere. They're like setting a chair on fire, but they're just
Right.
laughing and having the time of their life. Like that energy of that community and like the culture of that specific area was my favorite part of the
Yeah.
film, personally.
Yeah, no, I like that. It was a message that kept coming through over and over again. But I think that the director put that in there to say why these. Well, and the gal, who's the gal?
Bernie?
The gal that was she the one that worked in the chippy truck?
Yeah, Bernie.
Well, she said that. She said, like, you know, I need this. This is the only thing I got to look forward to.
Yeah.
Feeding her kids.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
So-
that one hit me pretty hard.
I feel like
agree.
that like translates into real life a lot, because I feel like a lot of us look forward to something. And I feel like also that line struck me too, because I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, live in the moment, you know, don't look for what's next." But also at the same time, like I kind of disagree. I'm like, you know, look for what's next, you know? Look forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's healthy to have like a small bit of looking forward in your life, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I
Something
think-
to look
Absolutely.
forward to.
And I think that was an override, consistent theme throughout the movie, is that they're trying to do better. They're trying to,
Mhm.
you know, and he tells them, and you know, when they're on the stairs at one time, Jimmy tells the other band players or something about, you know, why'd you do this? You didn't do it for the money. You do it for the girls. You did it because you wanted to be better than what you were, you know. And so,
Mhm.
I think that's another reason why I like the movie so much, is that it does say that there are things that can drive you beyond what you think you're capable of.
Mhm.
And yeah, in their case, even if it was just for a little while, you know, but
Yeah. I'd love to hear more. Like, tell us more. Like, why did you pick this movie? Like, why do you think that this is the best movie that people probably haven't seen?
well, mainly one, I think the whole combination of story and music in it is incredible. I think if there are times when I had to pause and just look at the details of the set. You know, what was behind when they were above that pool hall and rehearsing, the how the chairs were stacked, how, you know, all this minutia of making it look like, you know, that the funny is that the pool hall director, when he says, just leave it as you found it, and it was already a mess. How are you going to make it, you know?
Oh,
Make it better.
absolutely. Or like, when does your boss get back? He's like, 2 months, but he might be out earlier for good behavior. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's in jail.
But so it was that combination of to me, the compelling story and the music. That last song, not the second to the last song of Trial of Tenderness. The first time, and even this last two times that I've seen it, I just think it's one of the best musical numbers in any movie I've ever seen. It's just the cuts. So I literally went, and you know how you cut from one scene to another, even though it's not a different scene, it's a different shot of the same scene.
Mm-hmm.
In the first 2 minutes, so that song ran about 4 minutes in the movie. During the first 2 minutes, there were about 20 cuts. By the end, there were 85. So in talking about, you know, like action packed kind of like that's the kind of thing you do in an Avengers movie, or like, you know, these superhero movies.
Right.
And the fact that he did so many, I mean, like I said, a total of about 85, and then 65 of them took place in the last 2 minutes. It's just, to me, it was like, you know, somebody who really loves to look at those kinds of details in movies. It just was chills up my spine. Just great. So
That was very energizing, and I think I felt very present in that part of the movie, which is interesting because I think kind of like after their first performance or so, I think that's where I kind of started to lose my energy. For me, pacing of the movie was one of my issues. I feel like it started off moving really, really fast. And then I felt like we were spending a lot of time, and like the rest, I just felt like I was either trying to keep up or I was getting bored. But in that moment, like in that performance that you're talking about, Dad, like I felt very present, really energized, and it was like my heart was in it. Like it had pulled me into that moment. And I was thinking about what that must have been like, even for the people who were in that pub or in that venue who were there, or like the people who are in the band. And even though they're squabbling with each other so much, like in that moment, everybody who is listening to that music, you're just there. And I think that that was a really cool experience, and comes back to what we were talking about, having something to look forward to, living in a really impoverished area, but being able to escape that for a moment through music. Like I feel like that was what the movie was about for me, big time. And I felt it then.
So Luke, let me ask you, what are the criteria that Eliza and I were looking at last week with Moulin Rouge has to do with performances, like the acting. Did anybody let you down in that regard? Did you feel like somebody didn't, hold up?
There were a couple of like the minor characters that didn't really they didn't really have a whole lot of room to show what they could do, and with what room they had, they didn't do a whole lot. Like some of the side, like the backup singers, and then
the backup singers with the brown hair. I didn't care about her at all. I can't even tell you her name.
She didn't do anything except became super famous after the entire movie.
That actress.
A bit of trivia about that actress. So, did you recognize her? You're a Downton Abbey fan.
Yeah, I did recognize her, but I didn't know why. Who is she?
She was Bates's wife, the first wife, the one that died. That actress played that character. So yeah, really. You got to remember, this movie was 1991, and Downton Abbey was 20 years later.
I wish we could just do a full Downton Abbey podcast. Truly. Oh my God. Dun 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 dun
okay,
dun
we don't need that.
dun. If we have an editor, we could sub in the actual Downton Abbey.
I think your rendition was better, honestly.
Thank you. Oh man.
All right.
I haven't heard the original though.
Can I have a comment? I don't know if it's related to anything at all, but I have got to say it.
Okay, say it.
My God, some of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life, I saw in this movie. Shockingly ugly people.
Well, you know what else I found? So this happened in multiple of the performances, right? So what's his name? Deco, the lead singer.
Yes,
right.
Not an attractive guy, right?
No,
but
voice of an angel.
Did you notice all the shots that they did of the female fans that were looking at him all googly-eyed and stuff?
Yeah, and they were all ugly women.
Not all of them, but most of them. Yeah.
Most of them. Sorry, that's so rude. And if you guys can see, I'm no 10. I'm not a vision of grace and beauty all the time or anything like that. But I was just shocked. Watching him eat that eclair or whatever it was he was eating was one of the most, I had my whole body physically had a reaction to watching that. But if I would close my eyes and just listen, his voice was so spectacular. It's just really
right. Yeah.
I loved his sound. And when he wasn't singing with the band, it really wasn't the same at all for me personally.
Yeah.
I had another question. Sorry, Owen has entered the chat. But I had another question. What was the deal with all the dogs? What was that symbolism? What are we supposed to be? Is this just how it was,
I have that down too, because it's dogs and horses. Because you know that they were all selling horses at the beginning. They have the horses that were going down the street.
The one that was
Yeah,
shot.
the one that got killed, all this stuff like that. Oh no! Sorry,
Gosh,
Oh
not
my
on
god.
silent.
Jesus.
Heinous.
I know. That was my sign to wake up before I thought we were doing it. When I thought we were doing it at 4:00. Yeah, no, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to figure that out because that I have written down dogs and horses. You know,
Especially in the beginning, it was like
yeah,
so obvious that they wanted us to be paying attention to these dogs, but I couldn't understand why.
yeah.
What do you guys think the best part of the movie is?
Um,
Like not like what like segment, but like what do you think was the best attribute about the movie?
when Jimmy's dad is talking to Joey the Lips about Elvis,
Yeah.
and that whole everything about Elvis and Jimmy's father's love for Elvis, that was the best part. But that moment where they were talking to each other and he's like, see, I knew he wasn't doing drugs. Like I knew, like, and that, because that's the moment where you're like, oh, okay, this Joey guy is full of shit. Like he's never been on the road with any of these people. Like,
And that's a good point because I didn't make that connection. But he's on the albums. Who knows?
but is
But
he?
did you notice how they had the picture of Elvis and the picture of the Pope?
Yes, I noticed that very early on because, like, when Jimmy's father first said that, he was like, Elvis is God or something. He said that early
yeah.
on. And then when you later in the set of the house, you see Elvis is literally hanging above the Pope. Like, it's so great. It's so great.
To me, I think we've already touched on it, but for me, the best part of the movie for me is how it presented the difficult day-to-day situations that these people were in.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
how, yeah, I mean, I think he he did a great job saying that, you know, this, and you do that because that gives you a belief in their motivation for wanting to succeed at doing all this, you know,
Mhm.
trying to
Yeah.
be a part of a band. So, to me, that was kind of the best part. So,
That's interesting because that was my favorite part as well.
What?
I also thought that like showing that they had these, you know, tough, struggling lives like everyone else does, and that they needed the band to really find an escape out of their current lifestyle, their current situation.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Any particular shots that really stood out to people? I know, Dad, you were talking about in that last performance. You enjoyed that, but were there any like images or any moments that really pulled you in or stuck out to you and that will stay with you for a while?
For me, not really. I feel like the cinematography wasn't insane, right? It wasn't. It was no like Blade Runner where you get these like super gorgeous like coming over the city scenes or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the cinematography took away from the movie at all.
I think it was grungy, and I think
Yeah.
it was meant to be grungy, and it was grungy, and that was like chaotic also, which I liked a lot. Yeah, I don't really have a standout either. Do you, Dad?
There were a couple of scenes where it was night and it was raining.
Yeah.
And so, and every time he did that, I thought it was really cool. Just because of the way it made the whole the whole feeling of the movie at that point. I guess I have to watch it again to see if when he does that is that tied to something in the story, because he does it several times. So, but yeah, I thought those shots were cool. I did like the shot when they were on the train or the subway or whatever, and it goes across
the bridge.
Yeah, that was a cool shot too. A lot of those shots going down the stairs that they were, you know, when they were going down those metal stairs by their, you know, I think where they lived. I liked those shots and the interaction in there. Yeah.
I did like, I don't know why I liked this so much, but when they were walking, Jimmy and the first drummer, was his name Adam? Gosh, I should remember these names better. But the redhead.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what happened to him? It was like he was in the movie and then all of a sudden he was gone. I must have totally missed it.
Oh, he quit because he couldn't. He kept getting into a fight with Deco.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he,
Okay.
and he said he was on probation. And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "No, I'm going to deck him. He's going to hit the lead singer." And he goes, I can't hit him because I'm on probation."
Oh,
And then they asked him, "Why are you on probation?" "For hitting an asshole like him." So at least he
oh
learned.
my
his
gosh, I
lesson.
totally missed that, but that's hilarious and I love that.
Well, that happened just before they took the group photo.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Well, the scene where he and Jimmy are walking to go meet that guy in the weird warehouse. So they've like just passed the kids who are burning furniture for fun. And then they go into like this dark alley. And I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't know if it's because I'm a scared person in general. But in my head, I'm like, oh, nothing but trouble. What are you doing going into that like dark, dingy alleyway? But it's like that's how used to that environment they are. They're so comfortable in it. They both knew how to walk across that. There was the puddle with the piece of wood, and they both just like easily as can be like like walk right across it. And it was I don't know, I really felt present when watching that.
So
for
getting
some
back
reason.
to the believability part, why did that guy give up trying to get his money? Okay, they had that fight there and he broke that guy's nose, but you would think, that guy's got Rottweilers. I mean,
yeah.
So that was another thing where maybe it's supposed to happen after the end of the movie or something, but couldn't understand why he gave up on trying to collect money from Jimmy. But anyway.
And I also didn't understand why Jimmy would just pay him what he was owed out of the 200 quid. Like, was it that he was so worried that if he paid that guy, he wouldn't have enough to pay the band? But I don't feel like the band was actually money motivated. I don't think that was the core of why they were. 1 second. Some of us are live streaming.
Hey,
what's up?
Yo, what up, Chuck?
Anyways, here's Chuck. Chuck saw some of the movie. I don't think that
he looks like he's in the movie.
It looks like he can be playing the drums.
Can you wait to start a load of laundry until I'm finished with this?
We're almost finished. We're almost done. Okay, so let's start with some closing thoughts on things.
Okay.
You first, Eliza.
So from a rewatchability perspective, so overall I enjoyed the movie. I don't regret spending time watching the movie. I don't feel like I ever need to see it again. And I don't know if it would be the first thing that I would recommend to anyone. Sorry, not to be totally brutal about it. I was trying to be honest. I do think it had a lot of heart. So if you're on an airplane and it's available, I think go ahead and put it on. But for me, the biggest standouts were like the actual setting, seeing what that was like. That felt very real. I loved the costumes and the haircuts and all of that. I really enjoyed it. I was craving more character development overall. I don't feel like I got super invested in the success of the band. So then when it ultimately failed, I didn't feel any sort of loss. So
spoiler alert.
What are you talking about? We already said spoiler alert.
I know, I'm just saying.
Well, spoiler alert times 2. So hey honey, would you mind just being a little quieter?
What don't I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear it? Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't hear anything.
Okay. He's tap dancing on broken glass and spilling marbles. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so overall, out of like a thumbs up, thumb middle, thumb down, I'm right at a thumbs middle for me.
So if you saw the trailer, but that's the trailer criteria.
Well, I thought we were also applying that to this.
Okay. All right.
Are we not?
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead, Luke.
I am not passionate about this movie. I think it was a fun watch.
Yeah.
Would I tell somebody to go out of their way to watch this movie? I probably not. It depends. If they're looking for a movie about a niche group of people living in Dublin trying to start a band that ultimately fails, then yeah, I would shoot this their way. But
Or if they're like huge Soul fans and they wanted to
or if they're
explore
huge Soul fans, yeah.
another.
If they were a huge Soul fan, I would definitely recommend this too. But
All right.
yeah, it didn't have enough of my favorite traits in movies for me to like be like this was a slam dunk out of the park. But it was funny, it was quirky, it was cool,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed watching it, and I don't regret watching it. So
Yeah, I don't regret watching it at all.
I
It
think it
it
was
really
good.
does have heart and charm.
I give it like a 6 out of 10.
What about if you're? Oh yeah,
It's watchable.
I'd say I'd give it a 5 probably. Oh my god, you guys! I've seen 2 spiders in this room
Oh, okay.
today alone.
Okay.
Not to distract.
So
No,
Luke,
yeah,
if you're thumbs up, middle, down, where are you at?
Middle.
Middle.
I'm thumbs up, of course. That's why I recommended it. I'd say it's. I mean, I thought you guys are being more generous than I thought you were, given your verbal comments. But yeah, I mean, I'm putting it in there at about a 7.
I mean,
Wow.
also
Yeah.
like just taking into account the budget of the movie for what probably went into it,
Oh well, now
it's
hold
like
on one second.
it's like huge. It was really good.
I think it was $12 million was the budget for this movie.
Really? That's
Well,
crazy.
according to IMDb, so I don't know how
Credible that
accurate
is.
that is, but the
$12 million?
commitment. Hold on, let me pull it up really quickly because I was checking it out earlier.
It's kind of a lot of money
Um,
for a movie.
So Luke, while she's looking that up, how did it do in terms
Oh,
of
Just
awards?
estimated.
Oh, for awards, so actually it got an Oscar nomination for best film editing.
Probably.
Be 5 edits in one 4-minute section.
Yeah, I
Wow.
will say that the editing sure was good.
It was mainly the move, the music.
For
Scene.
the BAFTA awards,
Yes, that's the
uh,
British Oscars.
it won best screenplay, best
Right?
direction, best editing, best
Wow.
film,
Wow.
and it got nominated for best actor in a supporting role. Andrew Strong got that one, and then
What character was he playing?
Andrew Strong was playing the lead singer Deco, and then best sound as well.
Yeah, all those make sense.
Mind-boggling.
Wow,
Do
yeah.
they?
I had no
Do they?
idea that it was that it had won that Best Picture in the BAFTA Awards.
Yeah. Budget. You are not about to pee right now, are you?
Liza,
Eliza, we're good.
we're good.
It's not picking up a lot of the sound in your house.
Okay. Thank goodness. Yeah, budget was 12 to 15 million dollars.
Really?
Yo,
Mhm.
is Chuck frying chicken over there?
He's not frying chicken though. Opening weekend grossed about $271,333 US dollars.
Wow.
How much?
Overall, sorry, yeah. So the gross for opening weekend, it was $271,333.
Okay.
But overall, like the gross profit in the US was $14,919,570.
That's pretty good.
Wow. That's,
I can't believe that. That's insane to me, but okay.
I mean, it came out in 1992. How many movies were coming out then?
I believe it came out in 1991. So,
91? Was it 91?
Yeah.
right on. And Eliza, you said it's available.
Wait. Very importantly, it came out September 13th, 1991, which is a huge day for America and the world.
I don't know. What is that? Is that like a national hot dog eating competition? Is that when Joey Chestnut gets an award?
Anyway, let's move
I'm
on.
just kidding, Eliza. That's Eliza's birthday, everybody.
Eliza,
Wow.
where is the movie available for?
The movie is available to rent or purchase on Amazon Prime. I chose to rent it. I believe it was $2.99 to rent or $3.99 to purchase, if I recall. So,
It's only $1.
Yeah.
Why don't you just buy it?
Well, I wasn't sure how
I was gonna
rewatchable it
watch
would
it
be.
again, yeah. If it was
But I mean,
rewatchable, I
why
was
not?
willing to spend the extra $5. That's what I did too. I rented it.
One more question. I don't know if I think this would be fun because I think we're all performers at heart. If you were in this movie, which role would you have wanted to play?
Jimmy,
Jimmy?
he got the most screen time,
Yeah, it's a,
Dad?
mm,
and I like playing the slimy character.
I don't know, maybe the dad. That
The
was a
dad,
good-
that would be a really good one.
You know, I
Yeah.
did like that. That was a nice kind of good part as you bring up. It reminds me of the part when at the first show at the church when the twins go over there and tell dad they want money for chips and a soda or crisps and a soda, and then he goes,
Mhm.
"He's actually doing good." And then he went over there and and watched his son and saw that he was actually
I'm doing
doing what he
something.
said he was going to do. So anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So we've got a 7, a 6, and a 6.
I'm a
On the 1
5.
out of 10 scores. Okay, good.
7 and 6. You give this movie a 7?
I did.
Okay.
And its average rating on IMDb is 7.6.
Okay,
Nice.
good to know.
Cool.
We,
And I think-
we will get together offline about and this is a fine rating criteria as far as I'm concerned. You guys
Right.
good? We don't have to get too deep. I think you're right, Lou.
Yeah, I think we did a good job.
Doug DeMuro's might be a little too over analytical. So,
Yeah, because movies will always be subjective. There's no reason to look at them in a analytical form because everything's going to be different for every other person. Like I think I put a lot more weight on like storytelling and like what the message of a movie is more than necessarily like the music. But also I also really like the music.
I think that we can appreciate how different elements made us feel and also acknowledge that we're not experts in film production, acting, music, any of those things, but we have an appreciation for it. So rating
I would
like
argue
this,
I would
think
argue that we don't have to be experts because we're the ones who watch it, right?
right, we are the fourth audience or we're the audience. You know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I hear you.
So I believe Luke is up to pick next.
Yes.
Next
would you like
week?
to share with
Yeah.
people what will we be doing for next week's?
Next week we'll be watching Waking Life.
Waking Life.
It sounds like an anime movie.
No, it's
Mm.
sort of. It's rotoscoped. It's like a rotoscoped, almost like series of conversations. So it's
All right.
good.
Waking
All
Life.
right.
All
Richard
right,
Linklater.
Interesting. Cool. All right. Well. Oh,
All right.
geez.
I have to work tonight, so I won't be able to get this posted, but I should
All
be able
good.
to get it posted tomorrow.
Let me know. I'll send it out to all of my friends.
All right, all your 79,000.
Almost 75,000 right now.
Good.
Should we wait until we get a little bit better at this? or-
Maybe we'll get. Maybe
No,
we'll
we
get
should.
them
No,
given-
no. We should absolutely just post them. We should
Okay.
absolutely just post them
Okay.
because as soon as we get input from other people,
That will
we
help
have-
us
we
get
have-
better.
we have criteria to get better, right?
Exactly. Well, and like one of my favorite directors, David Mamet, what he said is you got to just go
Start.
create stuff and put it out
Absolutely.
there. Because you're going to
Absolutely.
be bad. It's going to be bad. You just have to accept that stuff that you do early is not going to be what you're going to be doing. 10
Trust me, I know exactly. I know exactly how bad you can be at the start.
Right on. All right.
Well, this is good. You guys are good for me then, because I'm
Thank-
like, we have to wait till it's perfect, but then we never released anything. So
Right. Okay. All right. Well, love you.
I love you guys.
Thank you. Good job.
love you.
And we'll see you next week for
Sounds great.
what was the movie again?
Waking
Waking
Life.
Life. All right.
Waking Life.
All right.
You guys are gonna love this one. I promise.
Cool. Okay, can't wait.